The third issue here, so we have the first issue is freedom, right? Science and morality with regard to freedom. If indeed the world works the way Newtonian science seems to indicate, then everything is deterministic, and therefore we don't have freedom. And then secondly, science and morality with regard to the experimental method and how we come to know things, right? We come to know things just by our sense experience, right? I know this is a table because it's, I can hear it, I can taste it, touch it, I feel it, all that kind of stuff. Or I know things by relation of ideas, right? 2 + 2 is 4. Those are various ideas. We put those together and we can know those things. So notice, I don't have to go out in the world to double check whether 2 + 2 is 4, right? It's just a relation. Once we know the definition of the terms, we can understand, what's going on.
Which is
right?
where our logic comes from.
Yeah. Right. So, but what does that do to morality, right? Does that mean then that morality, doesn't exist? Actually, Hume says that it's just preferences. It's our feelings. It's our emotions about things. It's really where he ends up with that kind of thing. The third thing is atheism itself, right? He says, what's more, as the Enlightenment would follow a path from science to deism to atheism, the very idea of moral law, the concept of morality itself, required underpinnings, right? And so the task of grounding morality became the question of, if you're led to atheism, this particular, Enlightenment path. So the question now is, how do you ground morality, right? In other words, Judeo-Christian and Islamic, for that matter, morality is founded on a moral law, and therefore, if you have a moral law, one would expect a moral lawgiver, right? Like
a universal concept of right and wrong.
Yeah, and so, this is often called the divine command theory, and so the question is, the concept of moral law doesn't even seem coherent. Can there be laws without a lawgiver, right? So the task of grounding morality in something other than God was part of the Enlightenment project. How do we ground morality, if we take God out of the picture?
I know, whatever's legal, that's what's moral.
Yeah.
That's a great thing.
That's right. Yeah. So, let's so whenever anyone talks about, or at least folks who are serious about morality talk about morality, you always, somewhere in the conversation, get to Hitler and Nazi.
Of course,
Germany.
Yeah. That's the one benefit that World War II ever got us.
It helped us to expose things there that we wouldn't ordinarily have even seen or talked about, right? Right. So, if it's just law, then Hitler was fine, and so was Nazi Germany. Of course, we don't want to say that.
Or whatever benefits the most number of people, like. You have Germany in the pre-war times. They needed a rallying cry because of what happened at the Treaty of Versailles, and that it led to super hyperinflation and everything like that. So you had a rallying cry around the Jewish problem, and so you had people that kind of utilized and catapulted an economy based upon getting out the Jewish problem, and also then stealing all their stuff, which is a great way to improve the economy once you have other people and you remove other people. So even there, well, who did that benefit the most? Well, that's a good thing, right?
Of the people.
Is it might makes right? Is it tyranny of the majority? Or if we have to kill the one baby to save all of humanity, is that worth it? Well,
consequentialist ethics, utilitarianism, all that kind of stuff.
So
I'm getting some exciting stuff here.
Yeah, I mean, these are the fun, the trolley problem question of will you throw the switch or not? It depends on who's on the track, I guess.
Will you push the fat man off the...
But I mean, these are the questions that have arisen from this Enlightenment project.
That's right.
Of
how do you ground morality if you don't have God? Right? Where's the ground of it? So Mitch Stokes tells us that he wants to argue then that given the very nature of morality, if God does not exist, that is, if naturalism is true, there can be no morality in the robust sense that we understand it. Morality, whatever else it turned out to be, would be grounded in nothing more than human preference. Right. And really, that's where Hume landed. Right. It's
right. So even if we did come up with an answer worldwide, and we said, okay, we agreed upon Super Awesome Man's explanation for the trolley problem and the right decision to make there, and who's the happiest, and the legal system. All that summed up would just be human preference.
Yeah.
Because at any point in time, someone could be born and say, I don't really like that.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. And so if you could convince enough people, right,
right.
to have your preference,
Yeah.
right?
It's just,
yeah.
It's just even if you have a worldwide preference, it's still
human preference.
just that.
Yeah.
Yeah.